So who do you want, Chasky? Bucks or Cowboys?
I want the Cowboys. Who wouldn't want the Cowboys?
You don't want Brady one more time in the Bay Area?
No. I'm done with that story.
No? You already seen it once?
I'm done seeing him go 4 wide, shotgun the entire game, complaining to the officials after every single play. No, I'm good off that.
So what? The Cowboys? You think they're an inferior opponent? Do you think Dak is going to throw some picks? Why the Cowboys?
It's Cowboys-Niners. I don't even care about their personnel. I just want the best matchup. And plus, Mike McCarthy versus Shanahan.
It's a mismatch.
Come on.
It's a massive mismatch.
Come on.
It's a massive mismatch.
Come on. Shanahan is, right now, if you're asking me who has elevated themselves with this year of coaching more than anyone, Andy Reid's so high up. I think he's kind of like, all he's doing now is adding to his already impressive resume. Shanahan has like leaped up in terms of what he's done in terms of team building, play calling. The way he used Danny Gray and Ray McCloud to clear out areas to give you those deep crossers. I'm not some X's and O's nerd. I'm not here to say that I'm, Howard Cosell or Greg Cosell or even Brian Balding. I don't pretend to be those. I'm just watching him. He puts Danny Gray out there, and I go, they're going to try to take a deep shot. And he puts Ray McCloud out there, and those guys run this long fly or go route, and all of a sudden the safety has to go with him, and then this deep crosser comes across. Here comes Debo. Here comes Ayuk. Here comes Kittle.
Dude, they were open
wide
all
open.
day long. The first play of the game. The first play of the game, Ayuk runs a deep corner route, and Debo's wide open, and it looked like Brock Purdy was unsure whether or not to get it to Ayuk or Debo. He airmails it. That was the first play of the game. Jawan Jennings, where he underthrew it in the end zone there in the first quarter. If Purdy would have let that go maybe a second and a half before he did,
that's slightly
a touchdown.
Indecisive. He was slightly indecisive in the first half.
It was a touchdown. It was a touchdown to Jennings. He runs under it. Boom, that's another touchdown.
Yeah.
The playbook was wide open. To Shanahan, we talk about who has the most to gain in this postseason. Is it Josh Allen, who looks shaky against Miami, right? Is it Patrick Mahomes trying to win his second Super Bowl? Is it Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles? Is it Dak? Well, Kyle Shanahan right now, in the year of Shanahan, has a lot to gain. And if he gets that Super Bowl to match Sean McVay, look who's positioned to win multiple Super Bowls now.
Right. Now
Kyle Shanahan.
Let's go back. I'm feeling great about the team right now, but if I'm being honest, right before halftime, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, situational football is going to do this team in.
Yeah.
Like, because that whole sequence, they score the field goal, they kick up, which frustrated a lot of fans. You settling for a field goal, you wanted them to punch it in. They kick the field goal, they go up a little, 1 or 2 points on Seattle. Seattle should have been dead to water. They fight back. You're thinking, oh God, this is not good. They squib kick it. And I just kept thinking, why are you squib kicking it? And people around me are going, well, they want to eat up clock. I'm like, no, kick it 80 or 70 yards into the end zone. Make them go the full 80 yards. Don't give Geno an opportunity to throw up a Hail Mary. And the tight end who got the ball squib kicked to him ends up running it out to like the 40. And then on the first play, Jimmy Ward comes in with a personal foul, and you give him a free field goal attempt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
those are the kind of situational plays, boom, boom, back to back, where I'm saying, against a better, tougher opponent, maybe where things aren't going your way, that could do you in.
No, it could do you in.
But they adjusted at half. I'll give D'Amico adjusted, Shanahan adjusted. I don't want to be, too critical.
I wasn't happy about that squib kick. Now, if Jimmy Ward doesn't come up with the late hit, it's a moot
What's
point.
Jimmy doing there?
He's
a veteran.
But you give up the 15 yards, and Myers nails a 56-yarder. Seahawks, they had the lead and all the momentum.
Yeah.
Hell, they still had some momentum down 23-17.
Right.
They go right down the football field, and Charles Omenihu comes up with a big-time play to force a fumble, and the Niners go right down the field. First play of that drive. Shanahan's like, yo, Brock Purdy, drop back and pass. We're gonna hit Kittle for 11 yards.
Are you surprised how, because like watching 49er football the last, just let's say 15 years, it's always like, this game's still in the balance. Like always. Like
I never felt.
No, but I'm saying before this year's team, we would like fight and claw, and like even the last possession, it would be like grinding your teeth, almost like Giants baseball torture in the sense where like it never was over. This year's team, they flip a switch, and it's like they blow a team out late in the third quarter, and the game's over.
This feels like 90s 49ers football.
Right?
90s 49ers football. You'd be back and forth with them in the first half, maybe. There was a lot of games at halftime the game was over with Niners Niners in 90, they will score 28 on your ass in the first half, and the game is over, and you're running out the clock in the second half. But this feels like that to the point where it is so easy for them to get chunk plays.
Yes.
I wonder how many chunk plays. I'm going to look this up. If we get Lubin to look this up, how many chunk plays do they have Saturday alone?
Well, Debo caught a ball. He caught it like he was wide open. He turned around. He was like, damn, I am so open. And then he said, I'm just going to turn upfield. Again, go back to the first 4 or 5 games. Debo was never that open on any play.
Christian McCaffrey.
I know.
Gravity. Shanahan. Fresh legs. And Brock Purdy seeing it all in the second half. I'm telling you, I feel like they had like at least 10 plays of at least 20 yards or more.
Yes.
And that was missing from this offense, especially last year in the postseason.
Yeah.
You didn't get all those big chunk plays. They came from Debo Samuel basically getting the ball in the backfield and running out of shotgun. That's your chunk plays.
Yes.
Now you're getting the deep drag routes. You're getting the screen game. You're getting the dump offs. And the run game, like the way they were blocking in the run game, this offense is so potent.
Juice.
They're balanced 50-50. Juice is playing well.
He was really
and I mean,
good.
again, Brock Purdy may make history because if you look around the playoff landscape, Cincinnati is a flawed football team.
Yes.
They've lost 3 offensive linemen in the last 3 weeks.
Jonas going down changes their entire offense.
Everything. And defensively, I've always had questions about them.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Josh Allen's become a turnover machine.
Yeah.
And defensively, they give up a lot of yards.
And they can't run the ball.
Dude, they can't run the ball. They're one-dimensional. And their defense, Miami chopped a ton of passes yesterday. Jalen Waddle did not help out Skylar Thompson. Tyreek Hill at times did not help out Skylar Thompson. So they look flawed.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what Philadelphia does against the Giants on Saturday night.
I'm very interested to see how healthy Jalen is. Because they're another team like the Niners. They flip a switch, and the next thing you know, they score 20 points in a quarter.
But I came out of that game for the first time I have all season saying, why not the 49ers?
Sam, get on. How many plays of 20 or more yards?
I counted 8 plays that went for at least 20 yards or
8
more.
plays.
Holy moly.
And it feels like it was more.
8? But
8 chunk plays,
and
20
that's
plus.
160 yards right there.
Yeah, and then at least another like 5 plays that went just for double digits in general on top of that.
Wow.
That's insane.
Wow.
So you get the 10 yards per attempt by Brock Purdy.
8 20-plus
You
yard
get the
plays.
yak plays.
Wow.
8 20 plus. That's what I'm saying, Chesky. The chunk plays are back. That's what turns you. That's Kansas City.
Yes.
That's Buffalo. That's Cincinnati.
Yeah.
When you're eating up yards and going 5 plays and 80 yards.
It felt like in the first quarter they couldn't really, they weren't trying to run the ball. And the next thing you know, Christian McCaffrey hits that corner, and it was like a funnel.
Gone.
And then he's just gone. You're like, wow.
Shasky, you would have gained 50 yards on that play. That hole was large.
I don't know.
My big ass probably couldn't get through the hole.
I don't know.
My big ass probably couldn't get through the hole.
It was a great. You know what? Ayuk's blocking doesn't get enough credit.
It doesn't.
Downfield blocking on that play in particular, and then the Debo one earlier. We can argue about him dropping a ball here or misreading that deep ball that Purdy tried to throw to him. His blocking, to me, is what separates him from a lot of these other younger. I don't see Justin Jefferson blocking like that. Now, I'm not as savvy on the film on the Vikings. Maybe he is. I'm watching my young player, and I'm like, not a lot of young wide receivers want to block like that downfield when the ball's not going to them.
No doubt. Look, a mark of a good team is this too, right? You take advantage of turnovers. You take advantage of momentum plays. The Charles Omenihu forced fumble on Geno Smith was a momentum play. The Niners recovered the football. They start off 1st and 10, Shasky, at their own 30-yard line. They go 7 plays to 70 yards for a touchdown.
Yes.
That's what good teams do.
Yes.
They punish you for not taking advantage of being in the red zone. They punish you, and they extend leads. Another chunk play of that drive. Juwan Jennings, 33 yards. Juwan Jennings has become Mr. Reliable in this offense over the last 2 years.
I thought that ball was up in the air. I thought Diggs was going to make a play on it. He never really turned to locate it. Oh, man, my heart was thumping on that throw because it was in the air forever, and it was coming right at us.
And, of course, you get the short field on the next possession. Or, excuse me, you get the ball on the next possession, and then that's all she wrote. A pass to Debo for 2 yards, and then the next play, Debo goes 74.
Well, I think the
74.
The one thing that I'm really loving with Brock, and I think Shanahan gets a ton of credit, and I don't want to take anything away from Brock. He takes what the defense gives him, and guys are so wide open, he's just not making the big critical mistakes. You know what I mean? There was a couple of plays where he kind of like threw it out of bounds on purpose because he's getting rolled out. And then another one, it was some sort of a screen play or a short type play. He just threw it into the ground. It was the scoop play, in fact. It was the scoop play where he was shoveling it forward. And he just shoveled it to the ground. I was like, smart play. Live to see another down.
No doubt.
Don't take a big loss here.
Think about that. First 3 possessions. In the second half, he scored touchdowns. First 3 possessions in the second half, Niners score touchdowns to take control. You go from being down 17-16 to being up 38-17. Great passing, chunk plays, getting the ball to your playmakers. I think that's the number one thing Brock understands. Is like, I don't have to do it all. I have Deebo Samuel, who looks healthy. I have Christian McCaffrey. Think about that. Sometimes, Shasky, I'm at the game, and I'm seeing number 23 run, and I said, I cannot believe the Niners actually got Chris McCaffrey.
It's crazy. And I know he ended up with a lot of yardage in that game. It was not a CMC special game. Like, it was an okay game. I'm not trying to take away. He was good, but
Think about that.
He didn't even have a great game. Like, we've already seen him have great games where he's single-handedly carrying them.
Think about what you just said.
I know, it's crazy.
Think about what you just said about Chris McCaffrey.
I love him. He's my favorite
player. But think about what you said.
Him and Deebo.
15 carries, 119 yards.
I know.
Another 2 catches for 17 and a touchdown.
Where he walks in.
He's talking about he didn't have a great game.
He didn't, though. Am I being crazy?
No.
He didn't. He had the one big run.
That's the equivalent of Steph Curry dropping 30 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds saying, oh, Steph just got 30.
It
wasn't great.
He had one where they were going left and like it was all washed up, and he's like, boom. And
cut it back to the right. I thought he was going to break that.
God.
I thought he was going to break that.
And Burford came in and wiped somebody out.
I thought he was going to take that to the house. He was like, because I remember the crowd in section 227, we all kept looking at each other like, oh, he was close.
He just missed it.
Just missed it.
I know.
He just missed it. I cannot believe Dick Hockert. Sir, I swear to God, I look at that trade.
It's a great trade.
And now people nationally are saying, wow, is this the greatest trade in NFL trade deadline history? The fact that Carolina made him available.
Well, Fred Dean. But yes, they're right there. You got to win the Super Bowl, obviously. But there's no doubt about it.
See that? That was weird.
No, what happened?
Oh, Mike was on and the red light just went off. That was caught me. Oh, sorry. Just derailed everything.
Maybe it's the radio gods telling you it's my turn to talk.
You may have passed the ball. I'm trying to drop my triple-double tonight. Oh, man. But no, seriously. When I look at the NFL landscape and the playoff landscape, there's one team right now that I truly fear.
Kansas City.
Yeah,
it's because of him. Mahomes. Yeah. And you should be scared of him, but you don't have to face him until the end.
Maybe. You may not have to face him.
And maybe you don't. Yeah.
Shasky talking about sharing the mic.
I was just teasing.
I know you're a teaser.
But honestly, the CMC thing is interesting to me because I want people to go back at the beginning of the year. Let's remember where we were. Every single Deebo in the backfield play was like 4 guys were there getting cracked.
Drove me crazy.
Right? And then
I said, scrap that.
I know. And then you're trying to throw the ball downfield to him, and it's like it's tough, like slants and crossers with 3 guys there waiting to take his head off, right? How many medicine balls did he have this year? And then you get CMC, and obviously his time off, like his legs look so fresh.
Yeah, they do look fresh.
But the fact that he's running full stride, wide open, I'm saying to myself, A, Shanahan's dialing it up, and B, the amount of playmakers they have. Pick your poison. Who do you want to stop?
And Debo's become smarter at just going out of bounds and not taking an extra punishment.
That's a good point.
That's big time.
That's a good point.
Because he loves to set a tone and like Debo, you don't need to punk everybody, right? You're Debo. We know who you are. You're a boss. You're a beast. Run out of bounds.
Yes.
Live to see another play. You don't need that contact. You don't need to take on extra. Kittle does the same thing now at times where he's not going in for the extra contact. So, look, man, Debo's balling, but it's the gravity of CMC, and it's a play calling of Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is coming to his own this season.
Yes.
I think this has been his finest coaching job. I think from a play designer, play calling standpoint, because a lot of people, remember before the season, we talked to Brian Baldinger, and he said, boy, the Niners are going to miss Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
They bring in Anthony Lynn. It gets off to a rocky start. You have a first-year quarterback coach in Brian Greasy, and then you bring back Bobby Richardson, who was out for a while. Do they miss Mike McDaniel now?
No.
Do they miss LaFleur now?
He might be coming back.
Do they miss Wes Welker?
Me and Sam went and we watched the quarterbacks all working. This is the beginning of the training camp. Purdy was in the group as well. And I said to Sam, look at how Brian Greasy's coaching these guys up. And we sat there and watched. Remember that, Sam? We were sitting there watching Brian Greasy working with them. Mm-hmm. It was such a contrast from Scangarello from the year past. Scangarello, the years past, would stand behind when you and I went. He was standing behind all the quarterbacks, and he wasn't really, like, interacting with them.
Right.
Greasy is working these different drills, and he's talking to the guys in between each and every play. He's been a great addition to the staff.
Yeah, he's hands-on. And then Anthony Lynn as your assistant coach. Anthony Lynn out there talking to everybody. Love Anthony Lynn.
The guy that I love, DeMeco Ryans, He's been awesome. Chris Kasarik on
That's
the
the guy.
sidelines
Nah, you love
with
him.
Charles
Look at
Omenihu, and Bosa's pointing on the Jumbotron to Charles Omenihu, and here comes Chris Kasarik, and he grabs the football, and he's holding it up like the Lion King. Chris Kasarik, I want to go to war with that guy.
That's my favorite coach.
I love him.
That's my favorite coach. You know, Shasky for years laughed at me because I'm like, I love watching the sleds, the defensive lineman, Chris Kasarik. He's bent over, and he's got his whistle, and he's yelling. And then there's an assistant D-line coach. It's Daryl Tapp, right?
Yes.
He's sitting there.
Virginia
and
Tech,
yelling.
55.
Yep, no doubt. Coming off the
Atlanta.
edge. Coming off the edge. Undersized defensive end. That's when they were a thing, right? Small, shifty, small defensive end. And he's bent over at the sled. Come on. And Bosa gets beat on a get-off drill, and Bosa, like, goes straight back, and he's down in his 3-point stance.
So good.
And it's like, yo, Bosa, get to the end of the line. He's like, no, I'm in my 4-point stance now. I'm getting off this ball. I'm going to beat him. Let's go. I mean, it is unbelievable how well he coaches that unit up. And that's the thing. That's why when Armstead was out and Kinlaw was out, you don't even skip a beat.
I thought Kinlaw had a couple of nice plays, though.
He did. But I'm saying, during the season, Kasarik coaches them up so well that you don't miss an Armstead.
At one point, Bosa was out for like 2 consecutive drives, and I was like, what happened? It looked like Fred Warner jumped on top of him, and maybe the air got like winded.
Know. I see him out too many times on the first down. Like, why is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't like that.
It didn't make sense. But he was out for 2 straight drives, and then they had Willis, Hyder, I believe Omenihu, and Kinlaw out there. And I was like, you got to get Bosa back out on the field. Like, he's got to get back out there. And then on 3rd down, he came back out, and he got good rush. But I don't know. Something happened in that game, and I didn't hear if anybody talked to him about that. Yeah. The other 2 people that we haven't brought up who I thought had great games, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw were everywhere.
Greenlaw, I'm worried about him.
Why? I thought he had a really good game.
I think he's compromised.
You think he's injured?
I think he's banged up. That back injury has gone nowhere.
Well, he went down, and that scared me.
I mean, Kenneth Walker III, when he got that edge on him to make it 10-7, I was like, boy, Greenlaw looks so good.
Walker's a stud.
Walker is a stud. But
I
Greenlaw,
like him. He's big
Greenlaw
time.
just seemed to step slow to me in this game.
You think?
The guy, yeah, no doubt.
Because I thought when he came back, he did a lot better.
Yeah, the 2 guys I think we didn't give enough credit to is Deshaun Gibson, who, by the way.
How good's he been?
One of the best stories all year. When you think about it, signed to the practice squad in training camp. Then elevated to the regular roster, starts at free safety, has to skip the beat. And then Deommodore Lenoir. He's going to get picked on all postseason. Teams are going to throw at him. I thought he held his own this week against the Seahawks.
Stepping in front of that ball and making that interception?
I thought
it's a hell of a play. He was boxing him out before that play even came.
And then ran back to the end zone. He's got the crowd all fired up. I watched Kenneth Walker III walk off the field. He was ticked off.
Yeah.
He damn near threw his helmet. He was yelling. He was not happy because he knew that was game over. But Deommodore Lenoir, Deshaun Gibson, underrated. Deshaun Gibson, hell of a story. We talk about Brock Purdy all the time. Deshaun Gibson, at free safety, was signed to the practice squad.
I know.
The practice squad.
And how many people were hand-wringing over, oh, my God, Jimmy Ward should play safety.
I was.
Gibson's been awesome. He was. Did you see him yelling at Ward in the second half? They were arguing about different formations and stuff and coverages because they were switching it up. And he communicates really, really well. Hufanga wasn't really a factor in this game that I noticed. Did you see him doing anything?
No, that's a good thing.
No, I agree.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He didn't get exposed.
He didn't get exposed in the pass game. That is a great thing.
Because I do worry about the big play. The one, I'm telling you, that Geno throw was one of the great throws I've seen at that stadium.
510 Xfinity Mobile text line. I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to take his word for it. John Lynch in an interview said that Brian Griese is the one that scouted and wanted Brock Purdy. True story.
Oh, my God.
Wow, well,
it's going to turn into what was the one with